Our guest has thoughts on how to assemble a new top-tier miner, and it just is better being bigger. With us is Neal Froneman. He is CEO of Sibanye-Stillwater. Neal, welcome to Kitco.
Hi, Michael.
Neal Froneman, you said you wanted to grow your gold business, and some type of business combination with other miners in South Africa may make sense.
Yes, that's correct, Michael. And it's not something that is recent. About a year ago, as we came out of being quite highly leveraged, we made our intentions to the market clear that our gold portfolio had become quite small relative to our PGM portfolio, and we really needed to get the earnings from our gold portfolio to a bigger proportion of the business. At year end, gold represented only 20% of earnings. So this has been a journey we've been on since the beginning of last year. The universe of companies includes, the global universe of companies. And then more recently, an analyst pointed out something which is actually quite obvious, is that some of the South African gold companies are trading at lower multiples. That's something that we've recognized for some time. And certainly, I suppose one of the options is about putting a number of South African gold companies together. There's some good South African gold and precious metals companies, and that's an idea that certainly seems to have got quite a lot of speculation.
Why does size matter in this environment?
Michael, it certainly does matter because investors and more specifically passive funds do look at size. So relevance, we talk about relevance, not so much size, but size does matter. You've got to be relevant to be investable. When you are relevant, you do attract a better multiple because you're attracting a broader base of shareholders. At $13 billion market cap, we don't consider ourselves relevant. We think you really have to be about $20 billion of size, market cap, in other words, to start being relevant in today's investment market.
Now, you're looking to South Africa. It looks like lower multiples. You want to see a champion out of there. You've also been slightly upset by the investment environment in the country, and you said that more projects could get greenlit with structural change.
Yes, look, South Africa is not an easy place to run an operation. Being domiciled in South Africa without any operations really doesn't have an impact on your business. But for whatever reason, some of these South African companies trade at a discount, and I think part of the reason is it's a difficult jurisdiction to prosper. One of our strategic focus areas is prospering in South Africa, and we've actually done quite well. However, like any destination, if the investor friendliness was to improve, there's many more projects we can do. So we have announced a few projects which achieve very significant hurdle rates, and clearly the hurdle rates are quite high. Because of some of the challenges that I've just referred to. But we're not the only mining company with a number of projects that could, under different conditions, I think, provide, organic growth and create many more jobs, which are desperately needed in South Africa.
You were talking about business combinations in South Africa, but kind of stepping back and looking at the industry as a whole. We've seen the odd M&A deal that has started. I think that was kicked off by Agnico Eagle and the T-Mac deal at the start of the year. Where are we right now? It doesn't seem 2011. It's not that exuberant, but what is the state right now of play, you think, in the larger industry? What are some of the seniors and intermediates doing?
Michael, I think that all of them recognize the relevance issue that we spoke about earlier. I think last year with COVID, we had two impacts. The one was we saw the gold price run, so valuations were challenging. We saw that in what we were looking at. But also you had the secondary impact of COVID and travel restrictions, making it very difficult to do due diligences outside of your home country. So M&A was subdued last year. I do think it'll pick up this year as vaccinations take place and travel starts opening up. I think we're also moving into a period of some weakness from a gold perspective, which obviously will get factored into share prices, and that'll create the opportunity to do smart things, not at the top of the market. And I suspect, as I say, we'll see more activity this year.
Let's turn to energy transition. You recently announced a strategic partnership with Johnson Matthey to accelerate, quote, new technologies for a low carbon future. We see a lot of investment in lithium ion batteries, but what's the breakdown in future demand for platinum group metals?
The fundamentals for platinum group metals are really good, especially for platinum, iridium, and ruthenium, which all play significant roles in the hydrogen economy. Rhodium has been in deficits and will continue trading in deficits for the foreseeable future. That's predominantly used in autocats. Palladium, I believe there's a strong underpin until about 2027, where some of these new technologies could well displace palladium. But certainly out until 2027, I think we have robust underpin for most of the PGM metals. In terms of battery metals, I think COVID has certainly seen a much bigger focus on environmental issues. And as you would have seen, many countries have announced accelerating their battery drivetrain programs through subsidies and so on. And we've also entered the battery metals market because we believe in having a suite of green metals associated with the business. Enhances ESG. Of course, there's proper and good industrial demand underpin for them as well, and they're complementary. And then, of course, you would probably ask why gold. Gold is counter-cyclical to industrial metals, and it gives us that natural edge in terms of being able to pay industry-leading dividends in a sustainable way.
What is different? You've built mines, you've run mines, but what's really different about the EV space when you get into something like lithium? I think chemistry is really more at play and being closer downstream, correct?
Yes. So there's a number of things that come into making decisions around exposure to lithium. The quality in terms of whether you're going to produce a hydroxide or not is important. There are cost benefits in going down that route. There are shelf life issues, so you've got to be closer to the market, and it's not only shelf life, but as we know, lithium is hazardous when it is mixed with water. So you have to be careful. So having a lithium operation close to the market is beneficial in many ways, and that's what our Keliber project in Finland does for us.
Lastly, you've built, as I said before, you have built mines. You are into the EV space, but there's entirely new pressures upon this industry. Carbon neutrality, ESG, electrification. How do you build mines these days to serve those markets?
Yep, it's a very good question. You have to build green mines. We've seen in our portfolio that some of the products we produce in the US are considered some of the greenest PGMs in the world, and we get a premium for those products. So that's the the first thing, there's real commercial imperatives. But from an ESG perspective, and especially the E in the ESG, obviously having operations that recycle is important to investors and society at large. Having operations that are not energy intensive, and certainly having operations that use renewables or low carbon emitting technologies are going to be important. And that's on the E side. On the S side, of course, communities and the social aspects of mining are also just as critical. But environmentally, carbon neutrality is a given, and if you're not going to be carbon neutral, you're going to have difficulty in finding investors.
We've been speaking with Neal Froneman. He is CEO of Sibanye-Stillwater. My name is Michael McCrae with Kitco Mining.